Hey everybody, it's Justin, your guide into the other side. Today I want to talk about sediment fragments, right? You might be asking, hey, what is a sediment fragment? What's the purpose of these sediment fragments? Should I even worry about them? What's the difference between biogenic swamps, chemical goos, the rest of them? And honestly, let's just kind of jump right in and see what those are all about. So first of all, sediment fragments are important mainly because they are core to evolving your Mars into Kodomars. And, Mars are important because, when you use them in the game, they're going to do everything you need them to. They're going to farm they're going to farm the resources, they're going to farm the sediment, they're going to fight against the shattered, and they're going to be integral to evolve them to reach to reach the end game of Legends of the Mar, right? To do, I guess, play at a higher level, do whatever you want. But honestly, we'll just go and break these down as it stands thus far, right? So we can kind of see, hey, biogenic swamps, those deeds are locationally in the center, right? Those deeds were designated for the Bored Ape Yacht Club, the Chemical Goo, obviously Mutant Ape Yacht Club, they're the ring outside of that. Biogenic swamp locationally, and then Rainbow Atmos, Cosmic Dream, and Infinite Expanse are those sediments that are minted, somewhere allocated to devs, but I don't really want to go into the details of those because I don't know off the top of my head. But honestly, let's just kind of jump right in. Another important thing is that sediment tier does impact how fast you get the fragments, right? And these fragments are integral to Kodomar Mara evolutions, mainly because you have a Coda, you have a Catalyst. We can kind of see, hey, sediments are optional, but what was noted in the blog was that the recipes for rare Kodomaras, and honestly, rare Kodomaras, I'm not sure what that distribute. I'm not sure what that I don't know what the community is going to try to find, yield, or build, but it's definitely going to have some interesting looks when the collection comes around, or interesting abilities or powers with whether they're farmers, enchanters, or hunters, right? So again, we can kind of see the base Kodomara right here. It's just kind of that naked, most basic looking Kodomara. Not necessarily without any traits. And I would actually say the catalyst probably impacts the way the overarching look of your Kodomara. And the reason why I say that is because when you actually take a look at the Kodomara collection off of the Legends of the Mara site, you can actually see that they have a variety of shapes. Some look like some look very alien, some look buggish, some definitely have some underwater qualities. They all are different, right? And personally, they look very similar to the seasonal catalysts that kind of show up here. So the seasonal catalysts probably define the overall aesthetic of your Kodomar, right? So, you might be thinking, so what does the sediment fragment do, right? And honestly, I mean, that was alluded to by the verbiage of the blog post, mainly because there's a lot of recipes that can be discovered by the community, right? So recipes for rare Kodomars, what could that mean? Probably more, probably maybe the aesthetic of the look of the Kodomara, maybe the accent color, maybe the abilities, maybe the affinities towards specific, play styles. That's all to be discovered in the future. So I can't necessarily say too much about that right now. But if we actually take a look at the, I just want to swap over to Otherside-Wiki, mainly because we can kind of see, hey, everything about, the sediment fragments going forward. And, in the future, as Otherside grows, as things move forward, as the community knows more about these recipes, I'm sure all of these pages will be updated per the community or per Frosty, whichever one comes first. To figure out, hey, what's the best recipes, what's the best information we can use in order to reach those end game states, right? And currently, what we have right now is just that, that quantity distribution. So biogenic swamps at about 10,000 currently, because there's only 10,000 bored apes, and then I think that's right. Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyways, chemical goo, there's only 20,000 of them. Cosmic Dream, 23,000. Infinite Expanse, 25,000. Rainbow Atmos, 22,000. And in terms of aesthetics, biogenic swamps look like the most powerful, in my opinion. So, it seems like they're going to be more rare. If you're crafting those rare tier recipes, it makes sense that biogenic swamps, chemical goos, maybe a combination you have to feed to your Kodomars will affect the overall recipe to reach those endgame states, right? Excuse me. And also, we have a breakdown of the tier rarities here. So, there's only 5,000 tier 1s, pretty more common, relatively speaking. And then, for tier 3 biogenic swamps, there's only 2,000 in the entire other side that actually yielded this particular level for the fragments. But honestly, if I'm to make a judgment call on, say, something like Chemical Goo, honestly, it still looks very cool. Definitely has that mutant-esque look. Would be interesting if that does affect Kodomaras in that particular fashion. But that would be definitely cool. So again, if we take a look at the more common, more mute elements of the sediment tiers, we actually have Cosmic Dream, Infinite Expanse, Rainbow Atmos. Honestly, these look a little bit more muted, different. Definitely have no idea what what they're going to do, but I'm sure all of these things will do things differently when the game does come around. So, honestly, if we're actually taking, I do want to give a quick market breakdown of the current state of the markets right now. ETH is sitting at about $1,634. ApeCoin is sitting at about $1.50. Deeds are sitting at about 0.32 ETH. And in terms of like how that relates to sediment types, if you're looking for a particular sediment type, let's say biogenic swamp, you can use this filter here and actually pull up the floor price of what a biogenic swamp will actually cost you, right? So if you're looking for that meta, if you're looking for the higher tier Kodamara recipes, then it's going to carry a premium, right? This is not financial advice. This is just everything in terms of, hey, I want to play a particular way, I want to get particular things. What's the floor, what's the overarching, I guess, sentiment of the market. I can't necessarily tell you where the price is going to go up or down. So with that NFA out of the way, let's just kind of jump right into the analysis. Honestly, biogenic swamps do carry a 100% premium. They are double the price of what a floor is, because a floor deed price is about 0.32. Biogenic swamps are sitting at about 0.65, and honestly, the deeper you go, the faster you go up in terms of floor price, mainly because these are super rare. They're probably super powerful in the game, and so on and so forth. But if you actually take a look at the next tier down, sediment type tier Chemical Goo, then honestly, we are still sitting at about floor for this second tier highest rarity. So I mean, maybe it's like second powerful. I'm not sure. Honestly, they probably do different things. There's probably going to be a combination of sediment fragments that you're going to need to allocate towards a Kodamara. A Mara, and to evolve into a Kodamara. That's yet to be seen. But again, do keep in mind, Chemical Goos are sitting quite close to the floor, mainly because we've just been bleeding out thus far. 0.32. We can kind of see, hey, honestly, there's a tier 2 Chemical Goo, level 4 sky. A tier 4 sky sitting at the floor. There's a bunch of things sitting at the floor right now with multiple like resources and stuff like that, but you will want to use the filter in order to not get bricked, especially if you're building your first deed. So again, if you are looking at lower tier deeds, like Cosmic Dream, Infinite Expanse, Rainbow Atmos, I can't necessarily say they're lower tier just because of their sediment type. All deeds have different use cases and build playstyles that you may want to consider moving forward into Otherside, Legends of the Mara. So again, the lower tier sediments may actually have more resources that people are willing to let go because they're not necessarily like Chemical Goo or Biogenic Swamp. So you will want to keep an eye out for those as well. So again, use the filters on Otherside-Wiki. Take a look at things that you want to consider when you're playing the game, building your first build, picking your first other deed, all those things, vessels, ApeCoin, deeds, Kodas, vessels. I'm just kind of going on at this point. But honestly, it's really important to have as much information as possible. I just wanted to go over sediments just to, go over it one more time and do a little bit of speculation on, more evolutions. But, that's just all I got for today. Definitely hit that like and subscribe button if you found anything interesting or intriguing, or if you learned anything in this video. And definitely hit me up on Twitter, if you have any questions or concerns. And I'm always in the Otherside-Wiki Discord official server as well. So I'm going to sign off for today. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.